Really interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, really interesting how he considered the fold so heavily because people just under bluff in these $400 tournaments. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, what are his bluffs? You know, like if we really think about it, like sure, ace high, like ace high has some showdown value if you had ace five, and when he raises the turn with maybe some backdoor diamond draw or something like that, and he actually gets called in on this kind of board. Like, what hands do you have that you're folding?
And it's gonna have some misdraws and things too. So I think calling is the only option myself. Let's see if Boogaloo got away from it. Ooh, call is 6.
So this is close between call.
Really interesting. So call is 6, raise is 7,500 is 10 points. And I'm going to say he said that because this is a very bad player. And so he thinks the very bad player is going to stack off here with worse queens a lot. I'm going to guarantee that's what he's going to say. Very interesting, though. I thought call for sure was the right answer. I never am in this spot. I don't know. Interesting spot, too. I think this is a little bit of a lesson for everyone out there, too. A lot of times, the hands we want to float with, like this one, are better as raises. So this kind of falls in that category.
Yeah, and he was kind of an echo chamber for us there, saying, you know, we just get better hands to call and worse to fold.
Yep.
Like, he's going to have some gut shots in his range. He's going to have spade draw. He's going to have king X. And we kind of know, I mean, we kind of identify kind of what cards are going to be bad for us on future streets. And we're aware how to proceed on those cards.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's a very good point, man. You right.
That was the best. You didn't say anything. You won. Just straight up.
You won. I'm just spewing.
All right, so ooh, look at this. You're not opening this. You just looked at this. You're not opening.
Button cut off, hijack, low jack, under the gun one. You are.
Come on now. Okay. I am. So let's see if he.
He's got to open it, or there wouldn't be a hand.
You wouldn't
I'm
be
already
equipped.
down on points.
You're already down on points in real life. Now, obviously, you're gonna cheat, but
I'm gonna evolve.
you're gonna adapt, right?
All right, let's play it.
I'm going to cry if he says he's folding here. Like, if he's like, yeah, you should be folding this in this kind of tournament, and you were actually right. All right, cool.
Wah, wah.
Like a spot where we have
Ah!
standard.
Yes.
And the reason is because queen.
I just want to say for the record that this is the best 3-point score I've ever gotten in my life. Because the right answer was fold.
But you heard what he said about the tables. This is a 3K.
Here comes the excuses. 10
The
points
excuses
fold.
to
It says
open
right
if your
here.
table is particularly tight and weak. Welcome to the $5 2K world. I mean, you know, the $11 10K. I'm opening this, yeah, for sure.
This is the best 3 points of my life.
Oh, that's hilarious. And everybody's 14.
Nailed it. What the hell kind of play is that from King Queen? Who does that?
What the hell? Yeah, so Matt.
Jonathan Little's an absolute crusher, so it's nice to have him.
Yeah, I agree, and I
He's
always
just
love
coaching.
playing right after sessions like this because I feel like my brain's warmed up. I'm thinking through things, and so it's a good way to start your session for sure.
But, all right, guys, this is it.
What's up, Mike? You want to give a gist? He was saying Narco Cop was playing about depipping about 28% of hands. He had been very aggressive in this $10 buy-in, and here are the options: to fold, to call, to raise to 1,200, raise to. What? Wait a minute. He made it 800, and my man's giving options for 12 and 1,400 ounces. So it's already getting kind of spicy. That's so nasty. To be on a site with these other crushers, you know, well-known poker public figures is pretty exciting. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I didn't mention that when I was kind of giving a little intro here too. You know, Assassinato, Matt Affleck, John Little, all coaches on the site, so very highly respectable, quality poker content.
Yep, Evan Jarvis as well. You know, remember Evan Jarvis, Matt Affleck, Assassinato, John Little.
Yeah, so I guess that just makes sense. He just have the ace of clubs in his hand. That's interesting, though. I
How
thought
many
that was
points you got?
interesting.
You didn't do that bad. 45.
I like how you just pat me on the back. You didn't do that bad. Well, yeah, good job, buddy. Like,
The back.
I remember I got the higher score in the first one. So, you know, we're 1 for 1, buddy.
I just want to know.
Calling, guys. Let's see if we're good.
Similar situation. That's pre-flop? I think pre.
All right, guys, we're checking, I guess. Oh, for fuck's sake.
One of the things I see people when it comes to poker is when we can get to the turn, there's an opportunity.
When you're facing a min raise or just a touch more than a min raise, and there's an ante in play, which is going to be the case in most tournaments, I think, going forward, you want to defend pretty wide. If your opponent's making a 2.
All right, cool. You're going 1400.
I'm going 1400, guys.
I'm gonna go call with the arm and just see what happens.
All right, and
I would fold in game though, for the record, in case that's the winning game.
You won. You win. I have to concede. You win.
14K.
14K, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Well, no, we cannot win. This is a pretty rough spot because damn it.
Mm-hmm. Where you gonna get my chat? They like naughty things. They like just beer, alcohol, you know.
All right, let's do I can do a $10 ACR giveaway.
$10 ACR giveaway courtesy of my man Toe. For me beating that ass heads up in this. Sorry. No, I'm kidding. We'll do this. We'll have to do it at least once a week, man. And then, you know, we'll do it. We'll do it every week a couple times.
So it's a tie.
I guess we got to give out $10 to each other's communities. We'll just do our own $10 free roll for each. Or does that sound fair?
Yes. Do you know what this means?
You win. I give his chat $10. Take it.
So that's cool because we have 2 ties and then a win from you and a win from me. This is like the epic battle. It's perfect. It's great.
Yeah, we're even Stevens.
This is awesome.
Take it.
I love it.
You know,
Stop. We got a giveaway going. Let's run the giveaway for the $10 ACR winner. Closing the giveaway. Drawing the winner. My man Sebs are getting $10 ACR giveaway for this one. All right, we are. I'm like glowing. It's like, we're live. It's the study stream. Just me tonight. I was hanging out with Sixes till about 4 in the morning. So he ain't gonna make it, and I'm a goddamn legend of the game. Just remember, when it really came down to it, we're out till 4 in the morning. Which one of us was the one who showed up? Who's here? Remember? It's all about the Toe Show anyways. Like I always say, he's just my sidekick. Welcome. It's study stream. We've been up for about 4 minutes, and we're on no sleep, so we might be a little delirious. Exclamation point PC in the chat for you to get a link to sign up for free to pokercoaching.com. It's Jonathan Little's poker coaching site where you get 20 free charts for 20 free quizzes, big blind charts for 100 blinds or more, and some homework assignments. If you sign up for premium, then there are thousands of these quizzes, homework assignments, courses. There's the cash game masterclass, there's a tournament masterclass, there's mastering fundamentals. There's webinars every week where you can get one-on-one time with all these coaches, these amazing coaches. It's up close and personal. You can talk to them directly and get feedback right on one. You can watch them play. It's pretty goddamn amazing. So make sure you check that out. If you're new to the stream, the way this is going to work is for today, because Sixes is gone, I'm going to draw 2 winners and have you guys compete for $5, whichever one gets the highest score in the quiz. To get into that drawing, poker coaching, all one word in the chat. And while that's streaming in, I'll pick a quiz, and then we'll do that. How you doing, Julius? 24 months. Thank you, brother. Good to see you again, man. It's been a minute. Deuterino in the house. What's up? Kept in the house. Beats. Thank you for the 22 months as well. That'll up our sub goal while we're waiting for you guys to put poker coaching in the chat. Goal. And it comes sub goal plus 2. There we go. Legends are made by playing partying till 4 in the morning and then being up to stream. You heard it here, guys. Clip that shit. Who's the boss? Who's the boss? Six is in here because he's a pussy. Clip that shit too. He's asleep. We were out till about 4 in the morning last night. His ass is asleep. You know, I'm thinking about 2. I might try to think about a good way to keep score. I think I'm going to put pokercoaching.com up on my other monitor here on my other computer, and that way I can keep 2 scores. While you guys are doing that, bear with me. And know that, like I said, I was up till 4 in the morning too, so it's likely going to be a shit show. Damn it, what's my fucking password? I'll tell you, it's not those 2, huh? Shit. Alright, we're going to have to do it this way. Bear with me, bear with me. This is a little harder to do when it's not the 2 of us because keeping score is tough. Six is still drunk from Thursday night? Yes. Absolutely. He was pretty shit-faced when I left him. What about Horn? Missed Horn last night. I'm not sure. He went over to the Rio. Sixes is trying to, like, for the first couple of days, kind of party and do the Vegas thing and have a few drinks because he knew that both of us really going to chill today because he didn't want to be burnt out for the big day on Sunday. He's playing the tag team with Jay Saliba and 1446. And he's got his big Sunday deal. And I'm going to play 30 tournaments on Sunday too. So I knew like last night was our last night. All right, guys, let's get this together. I'm going to draw 2 winners. Ready to go? First winner is Caleb. What up? Caleb. Wake his ass up. Yeah, he ain't getting up. He told me 6 or 8 days ago he wasn't going to make today. He hasn't studied all week. He really was like doing nothing poker, taking a little bit like a 3-day vacation. And then going hard. All right, Caleb going up against Ba-Bang. Oh, the dude, man. 2 legends. One from my study group and one from my coaching stable. Legends in the house. We're going to do this JL tournament. And I think we're ready to go. Guys, I see you both in the chat. Let's fucking do this. What does it say? I know you're into music, been in any shows this year. I got a big one in 11 days, 5 days long. Metallica plays Friday, Saturday, Slipknot, Mudvayne, Rob Knott, and Offspring. I had a show that I actually had to whiff. It was Violent Femmes and Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. And I have not been to a show since COVID. Trying to stay away from like just that many people in a confined area. I don't mind so much like, walking the strip with sixes and a beer and all that, and there's some space for walking through a casino where there's a bunch of open space. But like, I ain't trying to sit in a room with a million fucking people. I've seen everyone on that list, actually. I've seen Metallica a bunch of times. Got a bunch of there. This right here is a souvenir. I went to a show they did at the Super Bowl 50 because it was in San Francisco and they're from San Francisco. So there's a little handout thing they give you. I have a guitar pick from them, and so I've seen it a bunch of times. Anyways, all right, let's do poker. Ready, go. You guys ready? Ready, go.
Here we have Pocket Kings in a $5,000 buy-in tournament. That's good. Facing an under-the-gun raise for a player who started with only 20 big blinds. Should we fold, call, re-raise to 3,200, or re-raise to 4,000?
All right, here we go. Kings on the button. Facing it open from roughly 20 blind stack. Let's do this. Saw Slipknot last week. Ribs still hurt. Nice. I haven't seen Slipknot in years. Last time I saw Metallica was at the Super Bowl 50, like I said. I've seen Offspring 10 sometimes. Some Woodstock 99. Yeah. Rob Zombie, my wife. I don't remember what that guy does. He knows someone on the crew. She got to be on stage for Rob Zombie. She's got Rob Zombie guitar pick in her collection. You know what? I don't think I've seen Mudvayne, though. If I'm honest. 4K for everybody. 4K, 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 4K. Rania says, I feel like I want to 3-bet this, but flatting has merit. 4K flat is cool, says BTB. 4K for Hollywood. Caleb going 4K. I don't see the dude, man. With blinds covered, so maybe just call or chop. I'll probably ISO mostly. Says Kep. 4K for Julius. 4K for Dennis. 20 big open makes me want to flat. Blinds are deeper, though. Let's flat the final answer there, Brian. Hey, good morning, Papa Steve. 3,200 says, then all in on the flop. I'm going to go 3,200 because I want the blind depth. Yeah, so the big important thing here, guys, is not to jam. There are certain hands we most certainly want to jam here. Like Ace-King, I would jam for sure. Because that's a, like I said, it's a drawing hand, and you want a little bit of fold equity. And then if you get called, you don't really care, of course. But you don't really want to, 3-bet to 32 or 4K with Ace-King. And then whiff the flop, and then have to c-bet flop, and then be lost on turn. But Kings doesn't need that kind of protection. So we want to 3-bet and not jam, I think. The question is 3,200 or 4K. I think in game I'd probably go somewhere, 3,200 or 4K. I think both answers are okay if you ask me myself. 3-point due for the dude. And I forget what Caleb is doing. 4K for 4K and 3.2. Cool. We'll keep the dude on the screen, and I'll have Caleb on this other screen, and we will figure it out. So, dude says 3.2. Let's find out.
This is definitely a spot where we want to slow play by calling. And the reason is because if
8 points for 4K.
Fold out all of their junk, and whatever they have does not have a lot of equity against kings. Now, we may get outdrawn sometimes by calling. Obviously, an ace on the flop would be pretty bad. But this is a situation where we don't necessarily want to be 3-betting against under the gun because it kind of forces them to play well, right? And we don't want them to play well. We want them to mess up. And an easy way to let them mess up is by sticking around and calling with hands that flop very, very well. If you actually look at our GTO pre-flop charts, make sure you check those out. If you're a Poker Coaching Premium member, you have full access to those. If you're not, you have access to a few spots, but this is a spot where 20 big blinds deep, if you take a look at this, it shows that you should call with kings virtually every time. You also call with aces and even queens sometimes. And that's because we have our opponent in pretty bad shape. Also, calling with hands like kings and aces allows you to call a little bit wider with stuff like king 9 suited, queen 9 suited, 10-8 suited, 7-6 suited sometimes, right? So as you protect your calling range a little bit more, you actually get to call in a slightly wider range, which will let you play more hands more profitably, compared to if you only 3-bet or fold. If you only 3-bet or fold here, you just can't play the weaker portions of that range profitably. So anyway, I like a call here a lot. Flop comes ace, ace, king. We get the super nuts. Close enough to super nuts. And now the opponent checks. Should we check? Bet 1,600, bet 3,200, or bet 4,800?
Can I turn up the audio? Maybe. Yes. Sorry about that. No smoking in the house. You can in the man cave. You can in the man cave. Won't calling under the gun, or won't a small raise against under the gun's range and get money now from them? Yes. I mean, it was 5 points for 3,200. It was 8 points for 4K. So if you're going to bet JL likes going a little bigger, the 4K, thinks 3,200 is just too small, you can get more value. But he prefers calling overall. But going 4K, 8 points, not a mistake. Not a mistake at all. The super nuts indeed. The dream. The dream. What's the pot? 48.10. Can you see that okay? Oh, it's small as fuck. 48.10 in the pot, 102K in our stack, 12K in theirs. Arnie says, I don't see the value of checking. Check for tennis, though. 16 for Cyrus. Check for Dude Reno. Check for Caleb. I see 2 checks here. I see 2 checks. Steve going 16. Check for Hollywood. Check for Julius. Slightly smaller, says Bruce. 1K. Using for 1. Yeah, here I think if you're going to bet 1K or 1,600, I think that's okay. I also think checking has a lot of merit. The problem with ace-king board in the 3-bet pot is that, like, how is this guy ever going to continue? Like, even if he's got a hand like queens, let's think of, like, his best hand that's not one of these hands, right? Aces or kings. Like, even queen's going to be tough to call. They're probably going to float you for the 1,600. You don't get that one street from almost anything else, really, in a 3-bet pot. Against some of the gun. What else has he got? 9s, 10s, 8s. That might float you, but it's sticky in a 3-bet pot on ace, king, king, or ace, ace, king, either one. So I got a feeling we probably check here because we need no protection. Kind of what I think. I think we got this smashed. But if you go 1,600, I think that's fine. If you go any bigger than 1,600, it's a problem because then you're just for sure pushing out anything that really isn't an ace because he doesn't have any king X. We have all the king X in the world, right? Bet the nuts is ready. The problem is like I was saying, like we have this board so fucking capped that it is hard to get value from really anything. And you might lose a street if he's got like 8s or 9s, and we check here, and it comes down overcard. Maybe 10s. We check here, and it comes down overcard. But we're probably going to get one street from his hand, like no matter what. And then if we check, he can start bluffing, which is awesome. You know, and if he's got an ace, like on 20 bigs, with 5K out there, we can stack an ace by the river and miss the flop bet. You know. Harder to have ace-X. Yeah, he can't have a king. Like, it's real hard for him to continue. All right, check for both the dude and Caleb. Let's see what JL says.
This is a situation where I think we want to slow play. Normally, I'm not really looking to slow play, but if you think about what the opponent's likely to have on this board, they either have an ace,
shit, the scores are
going to
whacked.
pay us off no matter what, right? We don't care about getting money in against an
8
ace
to
because the
6,
pot's already
10
adequately
to
big
10.
that if we make a turn plus river bet, we can stack our opponent.
Write them down.
If they have a king, which is unlikely, we can still probably just bet turn and river. And then if they have an
I think it was a
underpair,
6, might have
like
been a
queens,
5.
jacks, 10s, 9s, whatever, they're going to probably call a flop bet but then fold to a turn and or river bet. And I think the better play is to just call, hopefully let them either catch up to a worse full house, which is not going to happen all that often, but it may. and also allow them to perhaps overvalue those hands. Maybe they think if it goes check, check, we don't have a lot of ace-x. So
It's
I
true.
think this is a spot where we
It's
have
true
a
about
very,
the
very
paper.
easy check. If we are going to bet, we definitely want to bet on the small side, like 1600.
Preach, jail.
Because that will allow the opponent to stick around pretty easily with hands like pocket nines or maybe even like queen jack, right? So in this scenario, when you're not concerned about being outdrawn and the stacks are relatively shallow compared to the pot, the right play is to pretty much always check.
5 and 8. I came with 6 and an 8.
If I did have an ace, though, I would probably at least consider betting. Because an ace is a little bit more
Got
susceptible
it.
to being outdrawn. Like, say the opponent does have queens and a queen comes, then I lose, right? Whereas here, if a queen comes, I win.
Yep.
I do realize if we are against an ace here, we will get outdrawn every once in a while, but the odds of that are very, very low. Like, say the opponent has ace-5 suited or something. If they get a 5, we lose, but the odds of that happening is very low. So, let it go check, check. Turns a 5. Oh boy, there it is, ace-5 suited, huh? And now the opponent bets small, 40% pot. Should we fold, call, raise to 5,000, or go all in?
All right, what's the play now? You're right. We did flat. We didn't 3-betting game, right? He's C-betting right now, right? Or no, did he check flop? In real life, he flatted, and then this one check on the flop, right? Call. Tank and call, says Ranius. Call for Bruce. Call for Cyrus. Toast of old school, he's using paper. Just easier. Especially when my two browsers are going to conflict on the score. Because I only have the one login. Hard slow playing. Call. Keep him in. Get more chippy, says Hollywood. Call, says Kite Man. Steve calling. Hey, everybody calling. Race call pre. Check flop. Cool. Thanks, Ranius. That's what I figured. We want to keep him in here. Call for the dude. Call for the Julius. Call for the Caleb. Yeah. So, no reason to raise, right? Again, if he's got an ace, we can always stack him by the river. And we want to keep any bluffs he might have in. We're not scared of the draw coming. Like, we really want a spade or a heart to come. Just more things we can stack him with. I'm with it. I'm so old school. I use pages from the Sears catalog. Yeah, I'm like writing on the pages of a Thomas guide. Bruce. Remember those? I agree. Let's call. All right.
This is a spot where we, again, just want to call. I wish the opponent bet bigger on the turn because that would have set up a less than pot river bet for either of us. When he bets this size, he'll have to like overbet the river if he wants to go all in, which is kind of annoying. But again, I don't think any of that really matters. Right here, I just want to keep my opponent in with all the hands that are drawing thin to dead. Like if he has a flush draw, right, I really want to keep him in. If he has a king or pocket queens, I really want to keep him in. And raising will make a lot of those hands fold. So this is a spot where I think a lot of people screw up by going all in. But there's really no reason to go all in if you think about it, right? Like, why would you possibly go all in? I mean, I guess you could say, I think the guy has an ace and he's not going to pay me if a heart or a spade comes. But, I mean, I can tell you, the guy doesn't have any chips. If this guy is sitting here with an ace, even a bad one, like ace 2, he's not folding. People don't fold an ace, even on a bad river. So this is a spot where we just want to call and we want to keep him in to the best of our ability. We do call, river's a 3, so ace 5 and ace 3 get there. And now he bets a weird amount, half his stack, 5/9 of the pot.
5/9 pot
fold,
shit. Oh shit.
Call, or go all in?
No backdoor flush. Hoping for it. Absolutely. Rip. All of the ends. Rip. Kept couldn't get it in so fast. He's typoing. He couldn't get the chips in fast enough. Click back, DC Doorknob says. Which is all in. He tried to trick me. He knows I'm on 4 hours of sleep and was out partying last night, and he tried to trick me with the click. Just call, says Ranius with a question mark. The dude all in. Call in. That way you can cover your bases. In case the dealer, like, leveling with the dealer. In. Just waiting for Mr. Caleb. Jam sandwich is just funny. I came home last night, 4 a.m., and made myself a peanut butter sandwich. And that jam sandwich made me remember that. All in, yeah, all in. I mean, yeah, obviously, right? I mean, this is what we wanted from him. If he's got an ace, we want to stack him. And if he's got a bluff, he's not going to call anyways. It doesn't really matter. We don't lose anything by jamming, right? We only just stack aces, right? How often do we slow roll here? You know what's funny? Like, that's one of those things where I think it's funny that people get so goddamn upset about being slow rolled. Like, who cares? Who cares? Just don't hum with it. You should absolutely hum with it. You see what hum with when he like shoves the chips in and they spill all over? How do we balance? Sometimes you get a high-pitched voice and you say, all in. And sometimes you have a deep voice, you say, all in. That's where the balance is in this spot. Jam, yeah. Well, totally slow rolling everyone in chat. All right, easy one, let's go all in.
This is an easy all in. And
That's
the
what I
reason
said,
is
JL.
because we lose to basically nothing. I mean, we lose to ace-king, which we block really hard, right? How many ace-kings are available? There's 1 king left and 2 aces left. 2 times 1 is 2. So 2 combinations of ace-king. We lose to ace-5 suited. There's clubs and diamonds. So there's 2 of those. So that's 4 combinations. And we lose to ace-3 suited. And there's 1 of those, only clubs, right? So there's 5 combinations of hands that we lose to. How many hands do we beat? Well, ace-queen. There's 2 times 4 is 8. There's 8 ace-queens right there, which are not going to fold to a jam for 5,000 chips. There's 8 ace-jacks. That's probably not going to fold. There's at least 2 ace-10 suiteds, right? So you see there's just 5 nut hands we lose to and a bunch of hands that are very strong that will call off against a raise. Obviously, when the opponent has a busted draw, it doesn't matter. He's going to fold. But in this scenario, you have to ask, are there a lot of hands that can conceivably call a river raise in this scenario and that I beat? And there are. And also, there's very few combinations of hands that I actually lose to. I guess I could have pocket aces too, right? So 6 combinations of hands that I lose to. 6 I lose to, and realistically, if he only has ace-queen and ace-jack, there's 16 of those. So this is just a no-brainer raise. If we did this math, looking at these combinations, and it was the opposite, like say there's 16 hands I lose to and 5 I beat, or 6 I beat, then I would call, right? In this scenario, to justify value raising, you need to
Just get your fucking boat in.
More than 50% of hands that the opponent will bet and then call off with that I beat than hands that will bet and call off that I lose to, right? So essentially, I want to make sure that there are more hands that I beat that will bet and call off in my opponent's range compared to hands that that will bet and then call off that I lose to. And in this scenario, it's 6 to 16 or something like that, so it's a no-brainer raise. We do raise. And again, whenever we do get called, I want to make it clear. Sometimes here we lose. But that's okay because we know 6 out of 22 times we win. 6 out of 22 times we lose. 16 out of 22 times we win. And opponent had the ace-jack this time.
Got him. You're stacking that hand. Stack him. Stack him, stack him, stack him. Well done. 38 points for Deuterino. 33 points for Caleb. Super close. Just size up a hair more. And that was the one thing. Who raised ace-5 off for the position like that? Ace-5 off. Ace-jack makes sense. I don't think anybody's opening ace-5 off under the gun. Not on 20. Not ever. No, yeah, not ever. 35. Dude, did you go 32? Oh, I had it backwards, right? No. Caleb, no, you went 4, dude. You know, you got the 38. And Caleb got 33. I'm looking up just to make sure. Fuck with me. He knows I'm out of sorts. He's fucking with me. You see that? Now I gotta scroll all the way up. I'm pretty sure you went 4. 3 point. Oh no, you went 3.2, dude. My bad. Caleb, you win. You win. I got it backwards. 38 for Caleb. 33 for the dude. Caleb, know how you want your money? $5 PayPal, whatever. You know how to find me. You can take it off Team Toe, however you want it. I don't give a fuck. Let me know. Brian, you're dead to me. All right, cool. We did it in America. I'm being lazy. I'm going to leave the poker coaching keyword, puck coaching, all one word in the chat. Go ahead and put it in there. And we will draw for 2 new winners. Meanwhile, what quiz should we do? I'm going to come all the way down here and like do something from the bottom. Especially since we don't have 6s. I'm trying to stay away from like some of the newer Faraz, because you know how Chandel is. He loves himself some Faraz. We got to find Faraz while 6s is here. I think we're going to do 1393 with the Evan. $13.93 with the Evan. Oh, you want 1384? We could do 1384. Fuck it. Ask and ye shall receive. 1384. Oh, you want to do fucking Fitzgerald? All right, we can do Alex because it's been a while, but with an asterisk. So just know that if like Alex is going on like a 5-minute rant, we're gonna do the sped up version. We're gonna skip some of that shit because he can go cray. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's draw. Bang! Oh shit, Mr. Cyrus, winner number 1. And winner number 2 is the chef. Let's go. Oh, we need a fresh page here. All right, here we go. Let's do this. We got Cyrus and Chai Chef. All right, my peeps. Let's do this. Write my score on a nudie mag. Who's got a nudie mag? Another thing that's kind of like gone extinct over the years. One of the things the internet's killed. I'm totally fucking this up. Like I always say, like if you're gonna fuck a hand up, like this is the place. Fuck it up for free and get better and learn. Shit, this is the place to do it. All right, guys. All right, let's roll this quiz and see what happens. Good luck, guys.
In this hand, you're playing a $55,000 guaranteed tournament on a large international site. You have Ace 10 of Hearts, Under the Gun +2. You're facing a raise from Under the Gun +1.
Shit is small, huh?
The Under the Gun +1 player has played 35% of the hands thus far, but has only raised pre-flop 15% of the time. Big Blind is playing 14% of the hands overall and is raising pre-flop 7% of the time. So you have a stack of 54,672. Blinds are 475,950 with an ante of 120. Pre-flop here, do you want to fold, call, raise to 4750, or raise to 5750?
All right, here we are. So, fuck, I can't hardly see it. 54K in our stack. Almost 60 in their stack. Big blind is 950. So we have like between 50 and 60 bigs, give or take. Getting an early open for what looks to be a min raise. And we got the ace 10 suited. Hey, what's up, Stu? It's God's non-dominant thumb. That's kind of funny. Smooth. Anybody know the difference between a smooth call and a regular call? Kiteman going 5750 and a lot of calls streaming through the chat. Chef calling. Who was the other guy? Oh, it's Cyrus. Cyrus calling. Both people calling. Beats raising. Papa Steve calling. Getting great odds to hit hard. You probably always just because it complicates everything. Leveling the quiz here. Sliding them all nice and smooth in your stack versus the Helmus spill. Interesting. DC says, call. Like raise better if position was a little better. Buffalo Boy says, toe. If the train leaves... Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I can't even read that. Train leaves at 9 a.m. Buffalo, 2 a.m. They crash at what time? And what the fuck is he talking about? How do you know he only raised 7% of the time a HUD? Yes. Yes. Pure flat. Yeah. Ace 10 suit's going to be pure flat. Couple things. One, we don't want to 3-bet this and get 4-bet off such a pretty ass hand. 1. 2, if we 3-bet, you 4-bet, and then call. Now this pot is like super bloated. And we still have some kicker problems. When we raise, we narrow the range of aces that are in here to only ones that beat us. Versus flat, like, this guy's going to open things like ace 9 suited, ace 8 suited, ace 5 suited. And if we 3-bet, does he call? Question mark. Maybe, because it's an ace, but maybe. Yeah, man. So calling here, like, 100% standard. Everybody here was mostly called. There was one raise out there, maybe 2. But yeah, I don't think. Another thing too is like, he's opening from early position, right? Button cutoff, hijack, low jack. Button cutoff 1, 4, 3, 2. He's under the gun 1, which he should have a condensed range. I don't remember if he said, Buffalo Boy, if his PFR is 7 or if his 4-bet is 7 or his 3-bet is 7. I'd be concerned if he's a little tighter. If there's hijack and low jack, they definitely raise the X and chef. I think there are more raises, but on this stack size, it's going to be mostly flat with your suited stuff and mostly raising with your offsuit stuff. Kind of like I said, like the suited stuff we really want to see flops with, and the offsuit stuff's much easier to 3-bet and fold. So yeah. All right, cool. Let's play it. Let's find out. Everyone who was playing the quiz just called, so let's do that.
This is subtly a pretty difficult hand. We'll see what you guys do. So we'll discuss why we do each decision by the end. So we 3-bet here to 47.50. And Dan Bana goes in and calls. And we get this board 6-5-3. And it's check to us. Do we want to check? Do we want to bet 4,750? Do we want to bet 6,003? Or do we want to bet 9,004?
So Fitzgerald giving 7 points to the call, likes raising better, and we all know Fitzgerald, right? Like, he's going to go super exploitive. So I think that's what he's doing here. If you look at the charts, I'm almost certain, and I will do that just to be sure. Like, if we're going GTO, like the kids say, I'm pretty sure ace-10 suited is just a call on this spot, under the gun 2 versus under the gun 1. At 60, ace 10 suited. Mixing some raise. But it's 73% call, 27% raise. So, there you go. There you go. We get the flop here. In game, I believe he raised, right? So we are the aggressors. 6-3-5, two-tone. What's the plan? Mr. Chef, Mr. Cyrus. Hollywood thinking check. There's a few C-bets out there, mostly like in the 47.50, I see. Jimmy, DC. What's the pot? Pot is 7. No. Fuck, I can't even see it. Pot's 12. Steve taking a small pot. Taking a small shot, rather. All those sides. Well, 47 is about third. 6K is about half. 9K about 2/3. Caleb going small. Kept going small. Ranius going cool. Oh, yeah, the pot's over there. I thought you were betting 12 or 13. Cyrus betting small. And Chef betting small. It's a tie. So, yeah, this is one of those spots where, like, if it was this big blind defend, most certainly going to be checking against a big blind defend here because his range is going to hit this a lot. The under the gun range, I don't think hits this board very much in a 3-bet pot, which is making me want to go 47 as well. I don't think we ever go bigger. Small bet, we're targeting air, right? All of his overpairs, never folding. Spade draws, never folding. We really want to target his air. Villainous sets, we don't have true. Oh, well, that's not true, too. Like, under the gun, I mean, again, in theory, I don't know what this guy is, but in theory, under the gun shouldn't be opening 3s and 5s, and 6s is murky under the gun, even under the gun 1, right? Super murky. So I would argue that, like, he doesn't have very many sets, but I would argue that we have better overpair, because if he had aces, kings, well, maybe not aces, but probably kings, queens, he would definitely 4-bet those. But he does has jacks and 10s and 9s and 8s for sure. Maybe 7s for sure. A lot of spade draws. And then things like king, queen club, queen, jack club, ace, 10 club. That kind of thing, right? I kind of on the 47-50 train myself. Both our contestants did that as well. Let's find out.
Okay, so let's go through this hand.
Uh-oh. How long?
So this one's actually subtly pretty difficult because just because a person plays a lot of hands pre-flop doesn't necessarily mean you should 3-bet them.
Pump
So
this up to 2x.
a really good hypothetical would be, let's say this person over hundreds and thousands of hands has played 30% of the hands but has never raised pre-flop.
Hold on.
Well, in that case, you should really just cold call with your ace 10 of hearts and take a flop because most likely they really have something. Now, let's take this the other direction. This person for sure plays 30% of the hands over hundreds of thousands of hands, and every single time they play, they raise. Well, ace 10 of hearts is clobbering a 30% range, so we should be juicing this pot, especially considering that you can call this person if they move all in, but the person we're really worried about moving in, it's not this person. We'll have enough equity to call them.
Well, that's
it's Jeffro.
please.
Jeffro specifically is a pretty tight player, so it's very unlikely to happen.
Too fast.
And so if we know this person is raising indiscriminately 30% of the time, we should 3-bet all the time, and if this person never raises, we should cold call. So now the line becomes... All
right, here's the deal. He's going to say that we narrowed the goddamn range. You should c-bet because we're in a 3-bet pot, and narrowing his range, he doesn't hit that flop. That's what he's saying. There you go. There you go. Winner. All right, so I actually think it's a tie, right? Yeah, it is a tie. Your head just exploded. You can't listen to that shit at 2-speed? What? You guys watching the Chai Chef, call it heads or tails. The Daniel Negreanu daily vlog that he always does. He's always listening to the hockey podcast he listens to. I don't know what the fuck it's called. But heads. He listens to it at 2-speed too. All right, here we go. Flipping the coin. Bang. Swish. And the chef winning flips. Life is good. Congratulations, chef. Let me know. Give me a whisper if I can send you PayPal. Send me an email address. You want ACR? Send me a screen name. Give me a way to give you your $5. Congratulations. Yeah, he loves that fantasy hockey shit, right, Monkey May? He is all about that shit. This is a pretty easy one. The 3-bet's arguable, but again, like if you're gonna exploit or whatever, and it's not off the charts. It's just the smaller percentage move on the charts. And I don't remember what he said about his stats. I know you guys mentioned it, but when you see these things like mixing, a little tip here. Let me see my stream so I can make sure you can see this. So in a spot like this where you see like ace-10 suited mixing, the way I like to, some people roll for it, like Affleck will use his watch or the serial number on the chip and use that to randomize. Or you can randomize based on exploitation, in which case, like if the guy is super tight or super passive, you can 3-bet because they're going to fold more, or flat and fold the c-bets more. And the guys who are sticky and tough, maybe it's better to flat because they're going to make your life hell at some point. Why doesn't Fitzgerald do anything for poker coaching but quizzes? I don't know. That's an Alex and JL question, but you were right. He doesn't do webinars that I can remember in a while. And then also, I don't know current. Oh no, he's got current quizzes. So you're right, he does do the quizzes. Yeah, I don't know what kind of deal they got. Can you imagine how long a webinar would be with Alex? Fair. Absolutely. Do me a favor, Chef. Whisper it to me so it'll give me a little pop-up and I don't lose it in the chat. And then I'll send it to you at the end of the stream because I got Pyro going and I don't want to kill my script. Because I'm that kind of nerd. My recollection is that JL says no raising under the gun. I guess that does not apply when we are exploiting errors. Yeah. I mean, that can't always be true, Steve, right? Because like if you have aces or kings, like you're almost always going to 3-bet those against under the gun open. You have ace king, you're going to 3-bet that. It's actually no flatting versus under the gun. I don't believe. Let me check the chart. And I'm going to be a better poker coaching employee and use their chart versus my pile ones. They're going to be very, very similar anyway. But we'll keep it branded. GTO charts. Let's say we are 60 bigs deep. And we are under the gun 1. And there's facing a raise. The opponent's position is under the gun. This chart actually does have some flatting, which is surprising. At 60. Most of the time, like, a lot of charts you see is just... And these are mixing heavy folds. These small pairs. Like, I'm surprised 6s is a flat. I think folding from 7s down is pretty good. I might even fold 8s myself. And then a lot of raising. Ace queen suited flatting, mixing some strong ace. Interesting. It wasn't just 2 versus 1. Yeah, they didn't have that chart. It's gonna change, but only slightly. So I was just kind of giving you an example. Here's another thing new in a long time. Talking about Alex. I mean, he's got current quizzes. That's kind of what I was checking. If you look up here, like, he's got one that was released But even that, like, this could be 6 months old. It depends on what the release schedule is, and they do take a while. They do. Who plays 9-handed poker? That's true. Right now in the World Series, they're what? Only playing 10-handed poker, right? That live should be crazy. Know what I'm saying? All right, cool. Let's kick this off. New keyword, new winners. New keyword is hangover. All one word. Go ahead and put it in the chat. What's special about 6 there? 100% flat while 7 is mixing. And 5 is mixing flat fold. I'd have to look at the... Oh, I have it here. It's got... You know what? Like, I can't tell you exactly why. It's going to have to do with blocker effect, right? I wonder if they have them, like, 3-betting some suited 7s, which means that, like, our 7s are kind of shit. 6 is the magic card. Oh, I know why. Because 6/6 you can crush the wheel. That's why. 6 is a magic card. That's why. Because if he's got a weak suited ace and hits the wheel, you have the wheel destroyer. That's why. Dorkman says, my casino is 8-handed because 9 people at the table would clearly be unsafe, but 8 is chill. I mean, they're doing 10-handed at the series right now. Yeah, it's the 6s because of the wheel crusher. And then 8s for value because you have the best hand a lot. What up, Bacon? Good morning, man. All right, guys. Hangover in the chat. Why are you doing that? I'm going to pick us a quiz. Going back down to that Evan quiz. Where was it? Here, 1372. 1372. The Falls View. We've been watching Evan on this one. Renny, just remind me I'll do 1393 next. because I'm lazy and I don't want to click that shit. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of hangover, where 6 is, that's where he is. That's what happened. He and I were out till about 4 in the morning last night, and I'm a legend and he's a wimp. Not at the bar. I dropped him off at his room. I don't have any scores for this quiz. I don't think I've done this one. I guess we'll find out in a few seconds. At the bar still. But now, whether or not he went out after I left him, which I left him about 3:30 or so. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, he's kind of shredded. He's got that mass to hide liquor in. Definitely not a lightweight. Monkey Man, good luck in your Saturday. Good luck. Guys, he said he's got to miss it. If you guys have missed the beginning of this, you've missed any of the ones in the past, usually done by me and my main man, Crazy Sixes. Lots of times, and he and I were talking about this last night. We got to get a guest on here. It's been a few weeks. We have guests. We've had Greg Raymer. We've had Jesse Sylvia. We've had Matt Affleck. We've had Evan Jarvis a few times. Poker Bras, Bet on Drew, Fat Train. We've had, who else? A bunch of them. You can check that out. Exclamation point YouTube in the chat. And you can catch the replay for all of them. Not jet lag. That motherfucker's been out. We were out. Well, I left him at, I think, 2 in the morning on Thursday. His escort probably hasn't left yet. You know, what happens here stays here. I don't know what happened once I left. That's on him. Thank you for that, Bacon. Putting the YouTube link out there. Our next guest host is my sidekick, Crazy Sixes. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's roll. Guys, get me sitting off here ranting. Oh, right away. Julius hitting it. Who's he playing against? Mr. Kite Man, congratulations. Battle to the death. Or at least for $5. Let's roll this bitch and find out.
Hello everyone, Evan Jarvis here for PokerCoaching.com. Today we are reviewing a tournament hand from the $1,100 buy-in WPT Fallsview event, Day 2. Made a deep run. In this one we have Sneak Attack in the small blind. That was the nickname for the hand 5 deuce suited. I came up playing online poker. I don't know why. I just remember that that's what it was called. Anyway, action folds around to us in the small blind. We are the table chip leader at this point, and we have a player who we've seen in a previous quiz, the tight OG Reg, who's been playing the game for 25 years. Ooh. Action's on you. What should you do? Should you fold? Should you call for 2.5K into a pot of 12.5K?
Can you guys see the bet
raise
sizes?
12,000 or raise to 15,000.
What do we do? Just limp. Raise the tight OG Reg, blind versus blind. What do we do? A few people instantly completing. Bacon coming out with the raise, though. Kep wants to raise the poor old man. Flatting, says J Bills. Caleb with the raise. Or bet. Is it a raise or a bet? There is a difference. I don't know. Just click the button if you're playing online. Just state the amount if you're playing live. Call for Kite Man and call for Julius. Few raises. Tommy Tsunami. Papa Steve. Hollywood. Mr. Mendo. Fold. Can't fold. Can't ever fold. We got a suited connected hand. Fold out of the question. Spoiler alert. 5-2 off, easy fold. 5-2 suited. I mean, I honestly never folding suited cards blind versus blind like this. Big as people are, I'm liking 12K based on the tight stats. Yeah. So yeah, you guys are kind of right. I believe this hand blind versus blind mixes some flat. Hit some raise. Oh Jesus. What are we? 30 effective blind versus blind. 30 effective. We're in the small. RFI. 5-2 suited mixing, see? And then a good way to mix, I was saying, going the exploit, well, like if you think this guy's tight and he's going to overfold, then you should be opening the spot into a bet of some sort. And if you think the guy's going to be sticky and weird, then you can always limp. And if he opens, we're always, not only are we always limping at least here, KOI, is that we're also, if we do limp, at calling a raise with the suited connecting lenses. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Tommy. You're definitely on the right track. Definitely on the right track. Both our contestants just limped. Let's see what he thinks.
I like pretty much all
might give you 10
options
points for
here, with the exception of folding. If we were off suit, we could justify folding. We're getting quite a good price here. 5-1 on a call, only needing 16.7% equity to continue. And with suitedness, we definitely have that. It's also the bubble, so we can apply some pressure on our opponent. Calling is a great play. We get a really good price here. We get to see the flop very cheaply. And if our opponent comes in for a big raise, easy fold. Raising small also has a lot of value. Our opponent's going to fold probably about 50 to 70% of hands pre-flop, given that the bubble is coming up. And if he doesn't fold pre-flop, we can take it down with a C-bet on a lot of boards as well. Raising to 15,000 has a similar effect, just risks a little bit more pre-flop. We'll get a few more pre-flop folds and lead to him having a tighter range post-flop. I opted to go for a call here, but all options other than folding really are good in this spot.
Other than folding, you see that?
Opponent checks. Flop is Jack of spades, 6 of spades, deuce of clubs, giving us bottom pair. And a backdoor straight draw. What should we do? Should we check? Bet 7,000 or bet 12,000?
Well, you know, like Evan's also Canadian, right? So like those guys are neutral. They're a neutral country. So just do whatever you want. I'll give you 10 points. But you can see the chart mixes. And I agree that raising probably better against this particular player. J Bills, this is what we were talking about last night. Like, and I'll say this, like early game and mid game, never ever folding. You're always gonna limp or open. You can mix. That's fine. If you open and get 3-bet, you're obviously folding. But if you limp and get raised, you're always calling. And that's early mid game. The times you're gonna fold this is when there's some sort of ICM involved. Now the chips you save are more valuable than the chips you earn, and you're not in accumulation mode, and we don't need this in our lives. And so that's kind of how that works. We did limp in game though. What are we doing? Bet for cap. Cyrus Wood size up on this board. So 7K. 7K for Hollywood. 7K for Papa Steve. I love the limp lead, not an option. I mean, his limp lead is 7K, right? The big blind's 5. So, I mean, he is technically leading Ranius. He's just doing it for a bigger amount, right? 12 for Bacon. Accumulation mode can be risky, but I was saying that's true. But accumulation mode is the time. Like, if you're going to go bust, then accumulation mode is when you go bust, and it's fine. Like, that's totally fine. If you were to, like, you know, if you're 3 tables left and you open this, now we have a good argument about not enough reward for your risk. But when we're in accumulation mode and not ICM mode, snappy snap. Snappy, 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 snap. Bacon says, why are you so angry, Bacon? Always picking the most high variance aggressive choice. Check for Kite and 7K for Julius. So here we go. This is where these two guys part ways. For me, I feel like the good thing about when we limp and he checks, now we can know he doesn't have jacks. It's got some sets of 6s. We know he doesn't have a set of 2s. So we have the best hand here, a turn. We also have a very vulnerable hand. And if we bet here and can get a hand like King Queen or Queen 10 or something like that fold, it's great for us. We clean up our equity. They don't get free chance to hit some overcards. And the truth is like there isn't really a good turn card for the most part. You know, a 5 or a deuce, pretty thin. That if we check, we're going to be able to continue on. Excuse me. Because our hand is so weak and marginal, right? So I think I am on 7K as well. In real life, similar to Renius, I would probably go like in a live tournament 5.2 or something. 5.5. Something like that. 7K for Julius, though. We'll keep him on the screen, and we'll see what the score is for Kite Man. Let's do this.
In these blind versus blind spots, especially on dry
5 points for the
boards,
check.
often the first player to bet at the pot is going to take the pot down. And this is a spot where we want to do that. We want to take the lead in the hand. Just protect our pair of twos if it's the best hand, and if not, turn it into a semi-bluff where we can improve to the best hand or potentially barrel our opponent off on good runouts. As for sizing, we don't need to bet big here. 40% pot is going to be plenty enough to fold him off just random junk that didn't connect with the board, the queen nine offsuits, maybe the ace highs, the eight highs, things like that. We are ahead of those hands at this point, but we're not a huge equity favorite against them, and being out of position is going to be tough to realize our full equity. So I like a bet here for a small amount, and our opponent continues with a call. Checking also works. You could play your hand for showdown value looking for a check call, but you're much more likely to get barreled off your hand
Kite Man
by
leveling.
taking that line.
See
And with
that.
bottom pair, that's going to happen a lot. I prefer check calling with a hand like top pair here than I do with bottom pair. Turns, glorious for us. 5 of hearts giving us 2 pair. Action is on you. What should you do? Should you check, bet 15,000, or bet 30,000?
I think that's good, Kite Man. I think that's a good bet size. Mr. Billin, welcome, welcome, welcome. Sorry you came on the night we were out partying with 6 till 4 in the morning, and then I'm the only one that showed up. In general, yeah, we got the shit together pretty good. What flop would I look at leading larger ass beats? So, in a scenario where we limped, which is what he did in game, I can't really think of, maybe, oh, here you go. If it was like 625 and you have, I don't know, 6x, right? Size up because your hand needs a lot of protection on 625 and a limp spot. They have a lot of pair and draw combos that are going to float you. And then on a 65, like, that might even float you with some paint type of stuff. And we don't really want that, so we want to size up. If this was we opened and they called and I had a hand like ace jack or something, I would size up in that case too, because the jack needs a ton of protection. Get called by worse jack, get called by the flush draw. So those are some scenarios. And yeah. I think if I had a jack X hand and I limped and they checked, I would continue to bet small because they're just not going to float us as much, and they don't have any overs usually, because like king queen's usually going to raise a limp. Queen jack usually going to raise a limp. That sort of thing. There we go. All right, let's see what the crew's doing here. Kite Man going 30. I see you. Steve going 15. Tsunami going 15. Set up the big river bet. Cyrus going 15. So both contestants going 15. 5 points it was for the flop check. I say that already. Deuterino going 30. 30, but I like somewhere like 22. How deep are we? Roughly as fuck. Cool. 15 for Bacon. Is betting 4K on the flop out of the question? I believe we can go smaller than... Well, you can't bet 4K, right? Because 5K is the blinds, right? So, but like if you went 5 online, limp lead for 1 blind, it's very effective. Yeah, that's why I was saying like 5.2, 5.1. Where's the 5 head? His ass is passed out drunk. We left him last night at like 4 in the morning, Frosty. And then, like I was saying before, the toe showed up. 6s. Where that guy at? Where that guy at? It's like the Brady Bunch. I look down at the square. Where you at, 6s? His ass is passed the fuck out. BBB lid pot isn't bottom 2, isn't exactly the nuts here. I mean, no, but yes, right? Like, listen, this fuck's got jack 6 or 6-2. Like, so fucking be it. right? Like, you're just going to die. Or at least, maybe not die this deep, but you're going to lose a lot of chips. You know what I'm saying? Just the way it's going to be. Value time, but yeah, absolutely. So I'm betting. The question is how much? We have the 5 and the deuce. So when they flat, they have a lot of spade draw. And Jack X. Shitty kicker. Which all should raise you. Actually, because it needs protection. So, fuck. I'm kind of leaning 15 myself, only because pot seems big, man. Pot seems unnecessary. Hey, Mr. Make It Happen, thank you for the follow. What up? Welcome. Oh, shit. Arthur and CWK, thank you for those follows as well. Hopefully you're still here. It was a while ago. Worried the pot is too big for bottom 2 pair, but yeah, at this point I feel like at the best end. Yeah, I mean, fuck. If we go broke here, you're not making a mistake. Right? He's going to push a ton of Jack X and stuff. Yeah. So, yeah. 3/4 pots is Frosty. Yeah, I'm kind of the same. Like, I would be 60% or something Frosty at this top depth, I think. He says 30K sets up the river jam. 60 plus 30 is 90. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Fuck. I ain't gonna lie, I'm hurting and tired, but I made it. Yeah, in game I would go. What's. I don't know. Bust out the trusty Casio. See my nice little big fat calculator for these sorts of things. 30. Yeah, I'd be somewhere in the 18 mark myself. I'm leaning 15 here, I think. We really want to keep him in. We don't want to run away. Yeah, 30 runs him off, right? I kind of agree. Julius going 15. I see that. I'm looking back up to see if almost like 30K needs protection from draws, backdoor spades. No. I see that comment. 30K. All right. 30K for Kite. 15 for Julius. Like I said, this is where we part ways. Fuck. I am fucking this up. I believe we had... Yeah, Kite's got the 10-5. Cool. So Julius on screen. We are 15 for Julius and 30 for the Kite.
Unless our opponent is extremely aggressive and is going to be floating the flop extremely wide, there's not a ton of value in checking. In these blind versus blind situations, these small pots, a lot of times people are trying to get to showdown cheaply rather than expensively. So he's unlikely to start just barreling off here if we check on the turn here. If, however, you know him to be an insanely aggressive opponent, checking to go for a check call and then a check raise on a later street makes sense. That being said, it's more likely our opponent is looking to get to showdown with a pair. So we want to bet and we want to keep betting for value. 15,000 is a size that's going to get called by a 6. It's going to get called by a jack. It's going to get called by a flush draw. It's going to get called by a wide continuing range. Whereas the larger bet size of, say, 30,000 is probably only going to get called by a jack, but it does give us the opportunity to stack a jack on the river. So it's really, if you want to play for stacks against a narrow range, go for the larger bet size. If you want to get a smaller amount of value from a wider range of hands, then go for the smaller bet size. Our opponent calls, river is a deuce. We basically have the nuts. Flush draw misses, actions on you. What should you do? Should you check? Bet 20,000, bet 40,000, or go all in.
Whoa! This got a little interesting on the river here. Considering he called the turn bet. Cyrus kept both going all in for twice pot. 40 for dude. Rip it, fuck it. This is Kite Man. Ooh, I got some dots. Think Jack X calls the 40K. We lose. Hey, J Bills with the prime sub. Thank you, brother. Bringing us up to 2223. 3 on the sub goal. Checks is bacon. Interesting. 40 for Cress. Check raise. Frost says 40K gets called by 6. Maybe only a J can call the jam. Tommy says, I feel all in polarizes you too much when you get called with the 40K. 40 for Steve. Oh, no worries, J-Bills. 40 to do his jam, says Mr. Make It Happen. Where you at? Julius. 40K for Julius. And I believe Kite said fuck it all in. This is a tough one, man. I can see definite arguments for both. When we bet twice and he calls, now he is very heavy jack and or flush draw. I guess only and because he can't have a jack and a flush draw. So he's got a jack or only or. Fuck. You know what I mean. He's got a jack or flush draw. If we jam, the good thing about the missed spades out there, a lot of jacks going to call. And polarizing is good because when we polarize, we have either the nuts or trash. Checking interesting because we have this board crushed. The problem with checking is that when we check, a jack ticks back a lot. But his missed flush draws should be betting. I don't know if tight OG reg is going to cap on that. Or is it going to attack the capped range or not? I'm kind of leaning 40K myself. There is some interesting arguments for jamming and for checking. If it's on the bubble, if it is on the bubble, I don't remember hearing that part, but if that's a fact, then I'm leaning 40K because if I jam, he's less likely to call off with the weak jack being on the bubble. I don't think 20K is the answer, Jules, because we can get more value from a jack. And a 6. A 6 might even call with the missed flush draw out there. I'm leaning 40K. I believe Uranians. 40K for Jules and jamming for Kite. Let's find out.
We basically
7
find
points for the jam.
ourselves
It
in a
ain't
similar
terrible.
situation to the situation on the turn.
It ain't terrible.
If our opponent is very bluff happy,
I like the way you scored
we can
this.
check here to induce a bluff from the missed flush draws, but a 6 is checking back. A jack may go for value. So if it's someone who's capable of value betting thin, checking here makes a lot of sense to both induce bluffs and get thin value.
Oh, Brett's
from
got
a
some
pair of
merit there,
jacks.
Caleb.
That was not our read on this opponent, though. This was a tighter regular who's looking to get to showdown as cheaply as possible. So it's our job to set a price that is reasonable and affordable. 20,000 is going to get called by everything, but 40,000 is going to get called by almost the same hands that 20,000 will, and we get paid twice as much. The all-in sizing would be better against someone we know is interested in making hero calls, who lives a bit more on the dangerous side, wants to make a big play, and that is not who this opponent was. So betting 2x the pot here is actually likely just going to get him to fold a jack rather than call with it. So we go for 40,000, which we feel is that middle ground that's going to get called by the widest range for the largest amount, and that's exactly what our opponent does, calls and mucks. We don't know what he had. We just know he giggled a little bit when he saw our hand. And we took down a 139,000 chip pot, building us to a very healthy stack. Day 2 of this tournament on the bubble. Anyway, this has been Evan Jarvis for PokerCoaching.com. Hope you enjoyed the quiz. Hope you learned a thing or two. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.
I like it. Loosey goosey table jam. I like it. Good players. What balance traders are going to call a jack there against the missed draw with a polarized range. Julia's coming out with the swish. Let me know how you want your money. Hey, Tommy, thank you for the sub, buddy. Whisper it to me, Julia, so that I can take care of it all at once, please. All right, there we go. Thank you, Tommy. I appreciate you, man. All right, guys. We're probably going to have time for about one more, maybe two. Maybe two. Fun fact, 5-2 suited is my favorite hand. What? That's a junkie ass favorite hand. New keyword, junkie. Go ahead and put junkie in the chat. And we'll draw for a new winner. All right, what was that quiz? I'm not playing the series there, Frosty. I'll be hanging out a little bit, but I am staying away from all the cooties. You know, like I don't mind walking around the strip or maybe being in an open casino, but I really don't want to sit in a room with like 20,000 people passing chips around, recirculated air, you know. Yeah, I ain't trying to be around all these crazy people. Hey, Bacon! Coming in with the resub and the gift sub, putting us at 226. Thank you, brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ah, cool. Let's check out a new quiz. You said somebody, I think it was Ranius, wanted something. Which number? No main for me, Beats. No main, not this year. I'm not playing live this year. I'll be playing online, like exclusively. Online's good right now, too. A couple reasons. WSP's booming because people are here, and everywhere else is kind of light on the fields because everyone is here. It's pretty good. 13. It was 13 something, wasn't it, Ranius? 1393 says Beats. Another Evan one. All right, so if we have time for two, then I'll come back to that one. I want to get an array of coaches. And we just did Evan. So let's do JL, 1397. And 10K. Might even be the main event. I'm not sure. All right, guys. Where's my night bot here? Drawing our winners. Let's go. Mr. Bruce. Running up against Mr. Beats. Team Toe on Team Toe Violence. What? All right, guys. Let's do this. Let's check it out.
All right. Pocket fives facing a pre-flop raise to 1,000. If you remember my previous quiz,
Oof, man.
This player made it 1,500 last time. And we have a call from the same probably type player. Okay. Should we fold, call, re-raise to 4,500, or re-raise to 6,000?
Oh, this is actually kind of interesting here. Let me scroll up a little bit so you can see the bet sizes better. Bruce, snap call. Tennis. Snap call. Renee says, I think flapping, hate it when getting squeezed. Call for set mining, says Steve. Ooh, squeeze for make it happen. Julia's calling. With Bruce and Beats. I see Bruce, I don't see Beats yet. Cyrus squeezing. Let's set some mines, he says. Call. If it was going to be heads up, if there was not a caller, Hollywood says he would raise the fives. Don't think players play well multi-way, but super deep calling is okay. Re-raise 4,500 says Tommy. 6K for make it happen. I don't see Beats. Beats got his kids doing figure eights, running between his legs, throwing shit, trying to kill each other. Where you at, Beats? Meh. Just want to fold but call. Interesting. I actually think folding here a very viable option. I'm wondering if we look at the charts. And this one, I don't think the poker coaching site's got multi-way charts, but the Toe is a pile nerd who does. And I'm pretty sure 5 is going to be a fold here. One thing I saw was either squeezing here and or 3-betting the open. Pocket 5's never, I would imagine, going to raise. And always going to flat if played. Button cut off 4-3, so this is 3 versus 4, and we're on the button. And we are about 40 bigs effective. So button, 3 open. I don't have 3 open 4 call, but I have 3 open cutoff call. Yeah. See here, all these like weird small pairs. They don't flop well. We don't really want to bloat the pot with them. They're always gonna flop really bad. There's always gonna be overcards, either on the flop or flop in turn. And so we don't really squeeze these bottom pairs very much, especially this deep. And also when the ways are coming from like middle of the table. I don't even think if we're like small, well, depends on the stack size, but like butt versus cutoff or something, mostly just flatting. And you can see that you can see that through 2 through 7 here. And then starting to raise a little bit with your medium pairs. 10's just too good, just shim it. Yeah. 200 BBs. We are 200 BBs. Oh, you're right. I said 40 because I saw the stack. We're actually like 100 bigs deep. So that was at 40. You'll see how much that. Oops. Now we're breaking shit. Let me bring that up at 80. We can even look at 100. But if you go to 100, it's gonna be even tighter. So button under the gun, 3 open under the gun, 4 call, and you will see same type of thing. All these small pairs just calling. I thought folding was going to be a thing. I guess not. I guess you do just set mine this deep. I thought these stuff was like folding for sure. But I was wrong. Flat them. Never raise though. No raises. No raises. Yeah, not with this hand. Show never. And then like the times when you have 5s and you're going to raise is like when you have 20 bigs here and you want to squeeze then. Sure, you're in the small blind, the button opens, and you got 20 bigs. I think maybe even 30. Jam 5s? Sure. No problem. Here, we're too deep, and there's some early action here. So, calling anything. I think everybody called. Call for beats, I see. And I'm pretty sure it was call for Bruce. All right, cool. Let's check it out.
With the small pairs, I'm pretty much always going to call against the preflop raise, and that's because if we re-raise, sometimes we're going to get 3-bet, and that is, or 4-bet, and that is just horribly bad because we will have taken a hand that has a lot of post-flop playability when we flop a set and just thrown it into the muck. Also, if we do 3-bet and get called, we're usually going to have a very weak / marginal made hand after the flop and we don't get a set, which is not really where we want to be, right? So if we're going to play this hand, we have to call. If I had to 3-bet it, I guess I'd go for 4,500, which would be 3 times the last bet plus any additional money in the pot. But this is a scenario where I'm literally calling every single time. I cannot remember the last time I 3-bet a small pair in this scenario.
Yeah, see, never.
Flop comes 6-5-2. We have the set. And now the tight aggressive player probably over pots it. 1.25, 1.3x pot, something like that. Woo! Should we fold? Don't
this is not a thing, by the way, multi-way. Never.
Raise to 14,000 or go all in.
This is 100% thing because the guy just did it. I stand corrected. You are absolutely correct. The math works. Randy, you're absolutely correct. However, in theory, never a fucking thing. Lots of calls. No raises. Interesting. Call, I think you just said I have an overpair with that overbet. Interesting. Lots of calls. Beats calling. Trust me, I'm a former math teacher. It's true. Bruce, both calling. Interesting. Is really opening 3-4 suited. Not a tag guy. Maybe it's bottom of the range. If he's got it. Do we just assume he has overpair that is never folding? If so, do we raise and do a jam? Almost 14K for Mr. Matt. I want him to go nowhere. Raise for Caleb. There's a raise. Him and Matt, the only two. Yeah, so I am on team raise here for a couple of reasons. When he overbets this, I do agree he is heavy overpair, in which case I really want to stack him, especially if he's got a hand like 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, jacks. Like, I don't want a 3 or a 4 or an ace or a king or a queen to come on the turn. And then those hands, we lose them, right? We don't get any more values. Because they're going to start checking. And the thing, too, is, like, when we have, like, the flatting to let the big blind do something and all that, like, the problem is in this pot, like, what can they do? We have all the 5s, so what is the big blind, what can he have that's going to do anything to an overpot bet four-handed? Like, you have to be super strong. Like, if I had some sort of 6x hand, whoa! I mean, the only 6x hands I have here is, like, maybe suited ace, right? I mean, I guess I have to look at the chart. But, do I still have it open? I don't, so we're fucked. I'm too lazy to open it. Yeah, maybe ace 3, ace 4 from the B blind, something like that. But the problem is when it goes over pot and call, like, those gut shots all should fold. You don't chase gut shots multi-way. Half argue you can float them with gut shot over card to the 6 and a backdoor flush draw, but not to an over bet and a call. Like, at that point, like, there's so much strength on the table that there's not enough outs, I don't think. There's not enough outs. Dork says this is a hard spot. Caller raise probably opponent dependent. Yeah, I mean, if I see this, I'm just, like, always going for max value here. I would raise to... What would I raise to, though? Next good question. He's got 28K in the stack. $14, a bit weird. There's 10K out there. I mean, I'm kind of leaning 14 versus jam. Because the overpair is just going to come over the top. He's going to spew it anyway. They're never folding. I'm kind of leaning 14 myself. All right. Bruce calling, though, and Beats calling. Let's see if we're cray-cray.
Well, sets are great. The question here becomes...
I don't think he has any
what does our
bluffs. That's
opponent's
why I'm
range
raising.
look like? Do we think it is going to be mostly just random unpaired hands, or do we think it's a lot of good, strong overpairs? So as you think your opponent's range is mainly just good, strong overpairs, you should be much more inclined to just raise. And the question becomes, how much should you raise? In reality, I think you should probably just go all in. I know that may sound like a gigantic raise size, but if you tell me this opponent has an overpair and they only have 28,000 left, are they really going to make a big fold with an overpair against me, who is probably playing a lot of pots, given I have a pretty good amount of chips? And I think a lot of people just don't fold overpairs, so I definitely think raising is viable. The problem with making a small raise, like 14,000, is that while it may price our opponent in with their overpairs, it also gives our opponent amazing odds to draw if they happen to have the random 8-7. And also, perhaps more importantly, if they do have a hand like jacks and they call and the turn is an ace, a king, or a queen.
See that leveling there, Bacon?
Now they very easily could just elect to check fold for the last 20,000 chips in their stack or whatever it would be. So if we are going to raise here, I think we need to go all in. That said, I much prefer calling. I'm not sure we can
thank you for
definitively say the low jack has only overpairs. A lot of people just blast it with all sorts of weak hands. I mean, they can just bet like king, queen of clubs or something. Again, it's hard to know what's happening in this hand because I don't recall playing this hand at all. It's happened a year ago or something like that. So given it happened a while ago, I don't remember the exact scenario. But in general, I think this is a spot where the most important thing to do is to figure out what's our opponent's range look like. If it's all strong hands, you might as well just rip it in and try to get paid.
Yeah,
and
so that's what he says, right?
Some hands that are drawing dead, that are king high, queen high, ace high, etc., then you should be much more inclined to just.
And those hands aren't overbetting forehanded.
I typically just call in this scenario because whenever you have the super nuts like this and
hang
the
out
pots
with
are
jail
already
in a couple
pretty big,
days.
or at least
We'll
will be big
have a
enough
talk about it.
where you can easily get the money in by the river, You don't need to raise to build a pot, so you'd rather just call and see what develops. Turns at 2.
Drink.
We have very, very good hand now. Opponent checks. It's a bummer. Should we check, bet 3,000, bet 8,000, or bet 15,000?
Matt says if the overbet is not a thing, then it's really hard to put him on a range. I get that too, so I guess let him blast off. So the thing is like, because the overbet's not a thing, now we go into exploit mode because he done fucked up, right? In which case, that's why I'm jamming. Like JL said, I don't think he ever does that on a drawing type hand, and I think he does that very heavily with overpair. I mean, maybe an overplayed ace, king, of diamond, spade, or club. Maybe. But the more maybe and the higher pitched your voice gets there, which I know Matt well. Matt's got a good squeak. The more I am going to come over the top here. Low jack does check turn. Now, what do we do? Ronnie likes to check. CWK, there he is. I want to leave him in the pot. I want to leave him with a pot-sized stack on the river, he thinks. Check a tiny bet for Caleb. Bruce and Beats have a Squeaky Matt. New nickname confirmed. Actually, kind of a solid screen name. I kind of love it, to be honest with you. Not just for Matt in general, but that's a pretty solid screen name. I like the funny ones. I like that. Tommy Salami says, bet 3K, get stack on river. 3K. Puts it at like 18 and 22. Yeah, that's about an SPR 1. The math works. Slow play says J Bills. Bet small says Hollywood. Check back, give him a free to steal it or call. And if he would lead flop, I think he would lead turn. The 2 doesn't make sense. It's a scare card. We don't have a ton of 2x in our range. 100% agree. It's interesting because when he overbet on the flop for me, I'm like, he's super weighted towards strength. I'm jamming. When he bet checks, I think he doesn't have much more overpair, except for maybe aces and kings, because those hands don't need any protection. And he would want to induce our draws, which I don't think we have very many, or even induce us to like start betting with a hand like 8s, where if he goes over bet and then bet, if you're good and this is a 10K, you got to really start questioning your life here. Can I see either potting or checking? Leaning towards checking to let him blast off. I'm kind of leaning toward check here too when he goes bet check, interestingly enough. Because now when he goes bet check, I feel like he's got far less perks. Could be a hand like scared 7s, 8s that bet and now doesn't know where the hell they're at because they overbet and we call four-handed. And so they're going pot control. We don't care about 7-8 anymore. I'm kind of leaning check myself. Bruce checking and Beach checking as well. I mean, he doesn't understand bet sizing, so he won't even know what SPR is and call half pot for like 8K and 3-1. Yeah, except he's got one of those like ace, king, spade, ace, king clubs. Like, he's just going to bail at this point. We do get value from 8s and 9s and 7s and all that, which we're going to get 2 streets from anyway. This is a weird spot. I feel like I would check again. Both opponents checking. Both of our contestants checking. Let's find out. Check 3. He likes 8. He likes
when
bet
the
small.
opponent checks a turn, I have to presume they don't have anything all that great. I think the play here is to actually not bet as much as 8,000, but you should definitely bet more than 3. I think the right play in this scenario is
JL does
something
hate
like
it.
7,000
I don't think it's
or
as bad as 3
6,500. Because notice if we bet 6,500, pot's going to get 13,000 bigger. It's going to go up to 30. Our opponent's going to have 22 left going to the river. And then we can easily bet 22 into the 30,000 pot, right? So I think 22 or 6,500 here on the turn could easily make our opponent think they have to call with like ace king, especially if it's a diamond hand like ace king or ace queen of diamonds. That said, of the options I gave you, I definitely like 8,000. If I had to pick the second best option, it would be 3,000.
Yeah, he set up the pot,
You don't want to go giant here because if you go giant, when the opponent has overcards, you're never going to get them to put money in the pot. Whereas if you bet smaller, they will stick around with overcards some portion of the time because they put you on a bluff. They put you on 8-7. So you definitely don't want to go too big here, and you don't need to go too big because the pot's already going to be sufficiently large such that you can get a big river bet in. I do go 8,000 here, and like I said, I think I prefer slightly smaller, like 6,500.
I kind of agree,
really try to get them to stick around with ace-high type hands. River's an 8. Opponent checks. Should we check, bet 8,000, bet 16,000, or go all in?
Chef says his overpair is calling 3K or 8K, so check just loses value, or check to us. Yeah, I mean, if he's got overpair, like I'm assuming he's going to bet it a lot, right? When we check and we look, quote, capped. So yeah, and I don't mind going huge on the river either to make up for it myself. Both our contestants are going to jam. Looks like we're going to have to take a flip here. Jam's the only answer, right? Like we have the super nizzies. I think check's the only answer. Kind of absolutely agree. All in for everybody. 60K. Dude Arena trying to get value. The problem is like, on this run out, like, your target value range is going to pay the all in, right? It's all going to be overpair. That's like, well, that's the target range. All his bluffs and stuff, ace, king, all that stuff just folding anyways. You're not getting value from 16 from those hands, so just jam, I think. Let's find out.
This is a neat spot. I think really the only option is to go all in, given the opponent has a 2/3 pot left. However, I will say, in specifically the World Series of Poker main event, or in any other event that you
bet smaller
can tell
because
that
you
your
want to leave
opponent
them
really
chips.
cares about, like maybe it's the main event at your local casino that takes place once every year or once every quarter or something like that, and you know your opponent satellited in and they really don't want to go broke. In that spot, you will find some people make very, very big hero folds. And if your opponent is the least bit inclined to make a hero fold for all their money, but they will call 16,000, which is basically all their
He
money,
always says this.
you should probably consider betting 16,000. Now look, in practice, I go all in this scenario virtually every time. However,
Mendo called the
I
flip.
could certainly be convinced that non-all in is better in exactly these main event type scenarios where your opponent really doesn't want to go broke, because nobody wants to go broke in the World Series of Poker main event. That said, if this guy does have jacks and I bet 16,000, he's probably not folding. Whereas if I go all in, there's some world where he folds some portion of the time. So I like an all in. We're not trying to bet small to try to get called by ace high now, because if he has ace high, he's probably going to fold any bet. We're not worried about being beat by an 8 or pocket 8s, right? I mean, if we're beat, we're beat. That's okay.
Tails, says Bruce.
And I did go for the all in this scenario, but I definitely think that a small bet size should be considered. This guy does fold though, so who knows what was going on in this hand? Maybe he actually did just have ace king, or maybe he had a flush draw on the turn. Not really sure what's going on, but kind of a bizarre hand. I really didn't expect him to fold, yet he folds. So clearly, either my bet size on the river was atrociously bad because I should have bet smaller, or my range analysis was way off.
Good to see you, Steve.
It's always fun whenever it becomes clear that you made some sort of an error in your analysis. That said, understand that just because your error or your analysis was quote-unquote wrong this hand does not mean that it was wrong across the board. And I think the way we played this hand is certainly fine. Besides, perhaps a smaller turn bet would be a little bit better.
Yeah, like he always says that, right? He always says, like, leave them something. And it's very true. Like, if you can get 16 out of him, but he's going to fold to an all-in bet because this is the main event, nobody wants to bust the main event, you're obviously super strong calling the overbet. Yeah, so I mean, there is some definite merit to that as well. Big Toe's still awake for now. Like, I'm going back to bed as we speak. This is it. It's a fucking wrap. Let me do the shilling first. Exclamation point, the big board one. Exclamation point PC, because they pay for this shit. In the chat, here it is. Exclamation point PC for you to sign up for pokercoaching.com for free. It's Jonathan Little's Poker Coaching is the site. He's got a wealth of coaches. He's got me. He's got Sixes. He's got Affleck. He's got Assassinato. He's got Faraj Jaka. He's got Jonathan Jaffe. He's got Tristan Wade, Lexi Gavin, Brad Wilson. I think I said Evan. He's got a shitload of coaches that are world class. I think it's some 30 million in winnings between them. Crazy numbers. Exclamation point PC to check that out. If you enjoyed this stream, you want to see this one from the beginning, or any of the ones we've done in the past, mostly with me and my partner Crazy Sixes, but he got drunk last night on the strip, being in Vegas, and we made it and he didn't. And we have a lot of guests. We've had this guest. We've had Evan. We've had Matt. We've had a lot of these guys. I'm going to work on getting JL when I see him in a few days on the stream as well. So check that out. We have Faraz. So check that out. Exclamation point YouTube in the chat. Also, for now, the PokerCoaching.com Discord is open to the public. So there's a link for that. You can join that every Thursday at noon Eastern. Sixes and I do another hour study group there. It's actually more in depth. We do pile sims and stuff that stuff. I won't. Oh, the flip. Thank you. I would have forgot. He did say tails. You can get it on that. Plus there is. Oh, and Bruce wins. Congratulations, Bruce. Let me know how you want your money. Invite invalid. What? I can handle that. I am the PokerCoaching.com Discord community manager. Hence the shill. Edit invite link. Max number of users, no limit. Max number expire never. Copy. Edit com. PC Discord. Bang. All right, there's a new link for you right there. There you go. PC Discord. All right, that one should work, guys. That one should work. Tails, Bruce, let me know how much money. Cyrus whispering me with a clip I will check out later. As far as my coaching, GodsBigToePoker.com, there's two options. I do $100 an hour for one-on-one coaching, or the way it works is for $50 a month, you could join Team Toe. And what it is we don't stake. However, there is a profit split. So if you have a winning month if you have a losing month or a break-even month, then it's $50, no more, no less. You get access to the Twitch subby stream once a month. We do a live, I love you too, buddy. We do a live study group with the team on Tuesday nights. Got a video library with about 400 videos in it. We have our own Discord, the Toe Discord. That's pretty much hopping. There's a hand history room and all that stuff. All available to $50 if you have a losing month or break-even month. As far as the profit split goes, let me see if you can see this well on screen, which you cannot. As far as the profit split goes, there it is. Basically, the way it works is the longer you sign up and commit to being on the team, the smaller the profit split. If you're month to month, it's a 35% profit split because if you hit for $1 million, I don't want you to hit and run my ass. It protects me. And then there you go. If you sign up for 250 tournaments, it's 30%. It goes all the way down to 1,000 games, which is 15%. Plus, if you bring in a new user and they stay for 3 months or more, I will knock a point off forever down to a minimum of 10%. So that's how it works. You can go to GodsBigToe /terms and services to check that out. I'll put the link in the chat. And you can sign up right on the site. You go to sign up here, and it's got a list of all the memberships, whatever, all the links. Good, there you go. So that's kind of how it works. Bacon, if you have any other questions, DM me somewhere. We could talk it out if you want some of the references from guys on the team, like Julia's been on the team, Beats on the team, Matt, those guys. By all means, let me know. And that's fucking it. This shit's a wrap, baby. We're going to throw the host over to my man, the dramatic D-Gen. I am not streaming again till Monday. Yeah, it's a volume commitment. Exactly, Bacon. That's all it is. And like the thing about the memberships too is keep in mind like how many tournaments you play a month. Like I play 300 to 350 tournaments a month, so 1,000 tournaments for me is 2.5, 3 months, maybe 3.5, whatever. If you're a 40 game a month and you're playing 1,000 tournaments, you're committing for like 10 years. So just keep that in mind. We have all buy-in levels from micros to the 109s and stiff. So check that out. And that's a wrap. I'm going to throw it over to Dramatic D-Gen. I will talk to you later. Oh, wait, that's not right. Let's get it right before we say peace. Because once we say peace, it's over. Peace!